Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
What a day of chaos, craziness, and fun we have in store for you. Hope all is well with you. So, the Omicron. For those of you guys don't know, Omicron is letter in the alphabet, the Greek style. It's another variant that has landed upon these shores potentially. What are they saying now? That they think that it might have been here not too long ago in, you guys ready? In Florida. The panic, the freak out of all that's going on. Then the weird stuff that's happening too. Case in point. Now, I have said, look, I got zero problem with capitalism, period. It's fantastic. Capitalism's a wonderful thing, the best thing in the world. You want to pull people out of poverty. You don't do it by handing them something. You help them get on a track to build their own. You've got Pfizer's CEO going, yeah, we think this stuff's going to work okay. We're not quite sure, right? We're not quite sure. The panic, again, is already going on. I mean, you see the panic everywhere. Shut things down. Oh, my goodness. What are we going to do? What are we going to do with the kids? New York and them. We're going to have to escalate up to the emergency. New Jersey. Oh, quick, call the task force. All of this stuff. The media. Guy at Pfizer's like, should work okay. Pfizer has the most breakthrough cases for several reasons. One, they're the biggest. Right? Moderna doesn't have what Pfizer has in manufacturing and size. Just don't. Pfizer's massive. So for every one Moderna shot, there's probably 3, 4, 5 Pfizer shots. Second thing, we don't know anything about this thing. Could be a while. Could be weeks. Could be weeks. Could be weeks before we really get an understanding. So far, though, unvaccinated people, still Delta variant is the predominant variant everywhere on the globe. And in South Africa, they're saying right now, very mild, which is good. Remember, it's good. This could be a blessing in disguise. We don't hear about any of that. We don't hear about any of that. Right? What we hear is panic. Last night, Trevor Noah did something I thought was rather interesting. Because one of the things I've been telling everybody, you should follow the money. Not that vaccines are bad, that these people are evil. Get a booster. Get your shot. It's not going to be 100%. But you know what? Why get sick? You're not going to turn into a monkey. You're not going to turn into a bat. You're not going to grow a tail. You're not going to become magnetic. None of that stuff's going to happen. Okay? None of that stuff. Flu shots, pretty valuable. Right? Just as growing up. I never got a flu shot, partly because my mother didn't believe in God made dirt, so don't hurt kind of scenario. But, I also grew up in a really weird, the 70s, 80s, kind of wacky. We go back and talk about it all the time, the difference between us and the new generation of bubble wrap children. But last night, Trevor Noah, I thought, did a good thing because I say always follow the money.
But while most of the world is willing to wait and see, at least one person feels comfortable about making predictions.
The Moderna CEO told the Financial Times he expects the existing vaccines to be less effective against the new variant of COVID.
I think it's going to be a material drop. This was on vaccine efficacy. I just don't know how much because we still need to wait for the data. But all the scientists I've spoken to are saying this is not going to be good.
Really? How would we know? Honestly, how do we know any of this stuff? So the Moderna guy comes out. So it's bad. Guys, you guys don't understand. But he's like, this will probably not work. We are thinking already it's not going to work. And the only way is for us to... By the way, I just let you guys know, Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer, that's what they give in South Africa. And they got very few people who are vaccinated, comparatively to us. The most in Africa, which isn't saying a lot. But when it comes to America, Europe, virtually nothing. I think they have like 20% of people that have had one shot, and probably about 10 to 12% of people who are fully vaccinated. Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. Not Moderna. Oh, I already tell now that it's not going to work because, money.
So, on the one hand, almost all the Omicron cases have been mild so far.
which I have said. Let me tell you why that's good. A virus's number one thing is to what? Anyone? Anyone? You over there. Stay alive. Stay alive. Don't kill the host. Don't kill the host. That's how it lives. It's why Ebola is not effective as a virus. It's hard to infect people, and you get sick, then violently ill rather fast. Then you can't move, and by not moving, you don't go from place to place infecting others. One of the reasons that it's killed so many people is the reality that a lot of people are just unhealthy, and it's killed vulnerable older people who were already compromised when it comes to their immune systems. They were vulnerable because of their age. They were vulnerable because they had several comorbidities. That's it. The younger, it's not killing the younger. It really isn't. It isn't. So the number one thing for a virus is to stay alive. Killing the host doesn't help.
But on the other hand, the guy who stands to gain millions of dollars from new vaccines says we need new vaccines. If we don't make a new vaccine, this disease could be with us forever. Sorry, I was thinking of something else.
Yeah. I have zero problems. And I say this. I'm a big proponent. I'm not a plague enthusiast. I'm all about making sure you take care of yourself. I'm trying to get healthier and healthier each and every day. This last year and a half has been hell. We had a time change when it came to the show. I've been working a ton of hours and don't work out as much as I used to. And I'm like, I got to change. I got a little one at home. I want to be around a while. It's on me to get fit. But the reality is vaccines are good. They are. All that being said, you can follow the money a bit. The pivot. It's time for a pivot. It's time to get back to life. The media reaction over the last several days because of this is insane. But part of that is the business in which we live in. And I say that because everything is business, and the media itself is business, and selling fear is easy. And go and look sometime, if you're sitting there and you're just watching the TV news, doesn't matter if it's local, if it's national, whatever it is, see who sponsors a good portion of those things. It's Moderna, it's Pfizer, it's Johnson & Johnson. It's a lot of those. Again, zero problems. Let me tell you why it's great that we have capitalism. I mean, capitalist pigs all they want. Do you trust Russia and theirs? Vaccine? No. Didn't really work that very well, right? Do you trust China's, which we found out really sucks? No. Capitalistic pigs, absolutely. But for everybody who's screaming, give us the vaccines, why don't you go and create your own vaccines? Why don't you go do that? Oh, yeah. I got no problem with it. My problem is when we're not being sold the entire story, if you will. Sell me the entire story. Let me take a look at it, and I'll decide whether or not I like it. There's the issue I have. I like what Trevor Noah did last night. Look, we're going to have probably by the end of the year two actual treatments. And by January, February, we'll probably have 3, of which 1 or 2 will be very, very good. There is zero reasons to think about going back in, shutting down any of those stuff. But the media, the coverage, I'm here to tell you guys right now. First of all, this thing could be absolutely the deadliest thing in the world. We don't know that after 2 weeks. The reality is it's probably not very deadly. And I'm not talking about the coronavirus. I'm just talking about this strain. The reality is it's probably a little bit more mild. The copy of the copy of the copy of the copy probably isn't great, and it's figuring out how to survive and stay alive. Killing off its host isn't the thing it wants to do. But follow the money once in a while. That's all I'm saying. Follow the money. Smidge of the money. Follow it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Big day today. Everybody's looking at the Supreme Court.
It's certainly possible that there will be a majority of justices on board to just overturn Roe and Casey and rule that the Constitution doesn't protect a right to terminate a pregnancy. And if that happens, somewhere north of 20 states, maybe as many as 26, maybe as many as 30, would outlaw abortion, virtually overnight.
It's possible. We're going to discuss that. A lot to get to. It's Woke Wednesday. Shooting in Michigan yesterday as well. But yes, it's out there today. They're going to be talking about Roe v. Wade. What does it mean? What do people think? What do the polls say? The average person. We shall discuss. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Let me tell you something. We're just talking about weight. We're just talking about being fit. We're just talking about we're seeing the effect of the coronavirus, in particular in people who, have a little bit too much weight on them. Some people struggle. And have you ever seen people that you're like, man, that person doesn't eat a lot unless they do something I don't know? What is it? Maybe it's not the willpower thing. Maybe it's not certain things. Maybe it's just genetically things aren't working. That's where Calibrate comes in. Calibrate is amazing. And I'm telling you guys, if you do one thing for yourself, Calibrate is it. It's totally different. Comprehensive, doctor-guided metabolic research promotes sustainable results through lifestyle changes, but also doctor-prescribed, FDA-approved medication paired with those lifestyle reasons. And that's the thing. It resets your metabolic health. It helps with your biology. Click it back into place, like something's misfiring. Comprehensive, fully integrated, combining classes, one-on-one video coaching, in-app tracking, community members, like every right there, you and you and you and you, and medical care, including doctor visits. Earliest members, on average, lost about 14% of their body weight. That's what Calibrate has done, exceeding the 10% average weight loss results in clinical trials. Over 20 years of research has gone into this. You will not be disappointed. If you do one thing for yourself, do something that is simple and easy. Use what's out there in the technology to reset your biology. It's easy fit in your life and your busy schedule. Right now, be smart. Treat yourself. Get yourself fitter than you've been in a while. Reset your biology and do it with Calibrate. They're amazing. Your weight doesn't reflect your willpower. Get back in control with Calibrate. Get $50 off the 1-year metabolic reset when you use promo code CHAD at joincalibrate.com. That's $50 off when you use code CHAD at joincalibrate.com. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
SCOTUS sitting down, meeting. Supreme Court. I've said this over and over and over and over and over. Trump's biggest legacy will probably be the Supreme Court. And this is the test that some people have been waiting for. Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade. First of all, it's a quick question. How do people feel about it? What do the polls say about it?
A majority of Americans want Roe versus Wade to stand. 3 in 4 say the choice to have an abortion should be left to a woman and her doctor. Mississippi and 25 other states are expected to ban or severely restrict abortion if the Supreme Court overturns Roe.
So, is that what America really feels? According to several polls, put them all together, right? So get all these polls, you put them together, what do you look like? Broad support, according to Gallup. So you got a broad support of abortion rights. America support abortion in May. The last time they took a broad support was about 80%. Slightly higher than 75, which was at 76%. Pew Center finds 59% of adults believe abortion should be legal, compared to 60% in 95. But there's a fluctuation. It's dropped as low as 47% in 2009. Republicans, one of the higher supports that they've had in a long time. Still very split party line. But you find, majority of people believe it should be legal. Here's what they don't tell you. It drops. Not only with age, right? So the younger, 67% of, 18 to 29-year-olds, yes, it should be legal. 61% 30 to 49, 53% of 50 to 64, 55% 65 plus. But it drops with where you are in your pregnancy. It drops where you are. 61%, according to AP and the NORC, find that abortion should be legal during the first trimester. Almost halved in the second, and only a third believe it should be legal in the third. So first trimester, a majority of Americans say, if you're going to do it now. Second trimester, a good majority of Americans say, sorry, you missed your chance. By you get to the third trimester, a vast majority of Americans say, eh. Trump's legacy, and I've said it, continue to do so, will be this court, right? We could sit down and we could talk about, the virus and this, that, and the other, but the legacy in itself, something that's lasting, is the court. And in a day and age when we live to sue each other, when states sue, when everybody says our rights have been, hammered on, or this shouldn't happen, and we decide, that's why I tell everybody, I don't care how many times somebody says, hey, they've blocked this from happening. I don't care until it gets to the point where the Supreme Court has decided they will not touch it, or they're going to listen to it. Because it's those 9 men and women that will have the final say. Now, all that being said, what could potentially happen? Well, potentially, these states could say, if they say, hey, you know what? You guys are a state. You have every right to do. It'll never be illegal, but it might be not legal in certain states. So California's never going to get rid of it. New York's not going to get rid of it. Illinois is not going to get rid of it. Wherever you have very blue states, you're not going to see anything. Purplish states may restrict some of it. And some red states may do away with it altogether. It's big. It's big. And this is the first test when it comes to the 6-3. We shall see. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Yesterday, Chris Cuomo was suspended by CNN. Should have done that just for having a not very good show. But nope, he was their highest rated. 650,000 people a night tuned into him. Just to give you an idea of what that looks like, Tucker gets 3 million, Hannity gets 2.75 million. I think Greg Gutfeld beats all of them. How about Maddow? She gets like 2 million. Like, geez, dude, you're never good at this. I posted something yesterday and somebody got mad at me. He goes, well, it's got a bigger social media. I'm like, social media is not real. Well, that stuff's real. He's got a radio show. I'm like, fine. That's great. That's great. I didn't criticize him for helping his brother. So here's where men can compartmentalize. I think other people have issues with it, but men in some ways, it's not very nice. Psychologists talk about how men can compartmentalize. I've heard that the other day too. Colin Cowherd brought it up. Talk about that. Yeah, you men do, because we can, right? Like it's one of the things that I think that conservatives can do that maybe the liberals don't. Right? Trump's like, yeah, this guy's a scumbag, but we got to deal with him. So I'm okay with that. People are like, you can't do that. It's not very nice. But I give him kudos. I mean, he's your brother. He's your brother. Producer Phil, you have brothers. Am I correct?
I do, as a matter of fact.
If you were in a position to help your brother, even though you were doing something, you'd help a brother out, wouldn't you? I think so. I'd do it. Right? I mean, that's life. I was talking to my uncle last night. My uncle's super on the right. And he goes, I'd have done the same thing. I said, yeah. Not anybody has a problem. I think it's not illegal to help your brother. The problem is you got involved and you had to pay the price. You had to know that there potentially was a fallout from this. Now, maybe your brother could have been feeding you lines saying people are coming after me. People are coming after me hard and they're trying to, there could have been some BS in that sense. You don't know what was dead, but that's still your family. But if you're a journalist, you're not objective. But you were never going to be objective. We should have expected that. We should have expected. You can't, in good theory, I mean, in theory, you probably say, oh, I could. But in good conscience, you're not going to be able, unless you hate your brother or your family member, be able to cover them in an objective way. CNN, part of this is their fault. You should have said from jump, you can't have him on your show. You can't. You can't have him on your show. Period. Especially when stuff, you can't. So yesterday, I guess, he still was doing a show in the morning. I guess he does a serious show, which I had no idea. That's it. This one person said, his radio show's bigger than yours. I said, maybe not. I said, I'm going to be honest with you. I had no idea he did a show. He goes, you didn't? I'm like, no. No idea I did a show. But this was the funniest. This lady calls up and she's like, your brother's an amazing person. And it's the redheaded, it's the red-faced Cheeto eater that was in the White House that people are talking about all the old people he killed in the cover up there. That's all, just going off. And then he has the audacity to say this. Now let's go back 15, 16 months. Okay. Democrats are going, well, this guy might be the dude that if we should knock Biden over and take his place, right? Remember Cuomo sexuals? Oh, all those people, Cuomo sexuals. Do you remember all that crap? Remember all that baloney? Of course. He got an Emmy for his media coverage. Don't forget that. This is what Cuomo had to say about his brother yesterday.
The game has rules, and one of the general principles is you can fight against the other party, and you can fight against the media, but only if you have your party. Andrew had his party enforcing a rule against him that if you have accusations, you have problems.
Yeah. Okay. That's because you've done that to everybody else. That party basically said, hey, guess what? Any accusation is a guilty plea because you believe all women, period, case closed, even if you don't have due process. There should be no due process, period, because we only care about what the public thinks. We don't care about the actual evidence or anything else. I said you let it play out in court. At the end of the day, you let it play out in court. That's the way it should be. You let it play out in court. We don't do that anymore, right? Due process isn't real. Now we ask you to go away before we give you the sentence, carry out the execution, then we have your trial. But he talked about the other party in the media. Well, one party attacks the other party attacks the other. That's always been that way. But the media with him?
And you don't really get to vet the accusations, and you don't get to go against your accusers. Now, I think that has pluses and minuses, and it's very much dependent on context, and I think that there is no subtlety to it right now, and I think that's a problem. 2, he had the Republicans hating him. 3, he had the media never really liked him.
Excuse me? The media never liked him? This is why nobody trusts the media. The media lived for him. The media covered up for him. The reality, I think, is Janice Dean has pushed. Oh, she's on Fox. Yeah, but you know what? Her mother-in-law and father-in-law were in homes in New York and died. Several people brought it up, and they pushed. But he was a hero. And the media claimed him as a hero. The media fawned over him. The media, they were lapping it up. They lived for him. He wrote a best-selling book about his leadership through all the crisis. He won an Emmy for his coverage. The media was against him? This is why people don't trust the media. This is why people don't trust the media. So the media is against a guy that they fawn over. Do you think the media was against Trump? Who do you think they were against more? Trump? Trump supporters? Cuomo? Democrat supporters? Ask you. Well, no, I'm just talking about in general. If we have 10 different organizations randomly picked, we'll say Fox is one of them. But the rest are random. And you got the LA Times, and you've got the Atlantic, and you've got, MSNBC, and you've got, and you just start going, who do you think? Come on. That's why people don't trust the media. Well, the media really don't like him. They don't like him at all. Please. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. This is why people don't trust the media. I give it to you straight, but I'm an opinion head. I'm media. You portray yourself as a journalist. Two different things. I'm supposed to give you my opinion. You're supposed to bring me the news, the who, what, when, how, and why, with very little in between. Very little. It's not what we get anymore, though. It's not what we get. MSNBC, I can look at and say, they don't portray themselves too much as journalists. They kind of know what they are, right? Left-leaning, intelligentsia. They found their super uber liberal white bread people that they want to cater to, and they go to it. But they don't come across and say, we're only the media. Now, they have some people that are journalists. Fox. Tucker's not a journalist. Not anymore. Might have been. I don't look at Chris Cuomo as a journalist, but when your company portrays you as such, there's the issue there. Sean Hannity's not a journalist. Greg Gutfeld's not a journalist. You're just not. So when you say the media didn't like your brother, that's the biggest lie of all when it comes to this entire mess. And again, he should have due process. But it is interesting. My God, people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. So yesterday, shooting, Michigan, Oxford, just outside of Detroit.
Police say the 15-year-old gunman killed a 16-year-old boy and two girls, ages 14 and 17. 8 other people were wounded, including a student now fighting for her life. Authorities say the shooter fired up to 20 rounds in 5 minutes as students and teachers used desks to barricade classroom doors. According to investigators, the suspect surrendered with his gun still loaded.
Yeah. Why? Well, here's the interesting thing. His parents have told him, lawyer up, essentially. Okay. He's 15. Parents told him lawyer up. They've already gone, took a bunch of stuff out of his room. The FBI came in. But the other question is, were there warning signs?
The school alerted parents last month to what it called rumors on campus, saying student interpretations of social media posts and false information have exacerbated the overall concern. But some students maintained they had heard the rumors.
So you had been hearing that there was going to be a possible shooting at the high school?
Yes, I did. I heard it multiple times.
But overnight, the sheriff says he doesn't know if those threats are connected to Tuesday's shooting and that they were never reported to his office.
Yeah. So what those were, nobody knows. Was this a situation where people knew this kid was potentially the culprit? Of course, you go to social media because everybody under the age of, 100 has some sort of presence now in social media.
I'm sure if you dig deep enough on social media, you can find that the kid may have posted threats, but he was so unknown, I guess, to kids in our school that I think there was no warning for the whole student body.
Might not have been, right? And by the way, the threats on campus could have been anything. Could have been hoaxes, could have been from kids that didn't go there, could have been just rumors that had nothing to do with this kid. But bet you candy ass they're going to look into it. 100%. And if this kid was troubled and people knew that he had threatened to do stuff, that's a whole hot mess. Because they had reassured their parents, it's nothing to worry about. These are just rumors. None of it's real. It's fake. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Rough Greens is amazing. Give it to my dogs every single day. Every day. Sprinkle on top of their foods. Canine VitaSmart. They take supplements. I take supplements. It brings their food to life. Vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9, digestive enzymes. Incredible stuff. Whether it's their fur. My older dog had issues with his fur, and he had hip and joint pain. He has no issues with his fur, and his hip and joint pain are so, you can't even, the difference is so dramatic with Doodle, where you couldn't even really pet him past his little shoulders. Now you can pet him everywhere. He runs, he jumps, he's got energy. It's awesome to see. Right now, Rough Greens wants you to try it before you buy it. ruffgreens.com/Chad. You go there, cover the cost of shipping. They're going to send you a bag for free. ruffgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MY-DOG-77, 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
West Side Story. Looks like could be the Oscar favorite. You're like, didn't they do that? They did it a long time ago. Spielberg is, well, he's done it.
The first reactions are in for Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, and one name is getting a lot of attention.
I want to be happy here.
Newcomer Rachel Zegler takes on the starring role of Maria, and at the film's premiere this week, she said this is an updated version with a classic feel.
The conversation about gentrification has been opened up vastly, and I think that's such an important part of our film, while also maintaining that charm of the original musical with all of that music and the dancing and the sweeping score.
West Side Story getting rave reviews. It'll be in theaters December 10th. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Oh, man, I can't wait not to see that. I saw the 1957 West Side Story. I saw the original. Theater version of the original. Back in the day. Back in the day. Right? Way back in the day. When did we see it? I saw it. Actually, it came out in like the 60s, right? Rita Moreno, Natalie Wood. I saw it, I think it was in 9th grade at Long Beach Stanford Junior High. I saw it with probably 15 Crips in our class. 10, 15 of them. A couple East Side Longos, which were another game, Mexican gang. Was so funny. They're just talking the whole time because we had to watch it for class. And they're like, I'd have shot him. We just go back and forth about how stupid it was. I'm like, this is great. I'm just going to sit back and whatever happens, happens. And man, was it hilarious. I don't do musicals. I got to be honest with you. I just find it bizarre that in the middle of something, somebody would break out in song and dance. Other people do. Other people find musicals exciting. Do I think this is going to win it? Yeah, I think this will probably win a lot of awards. There's not a ton of movies out there. And you know, it's, and again, they're talking about gentrification. So that's, you know, very woke. Speaking of woke, it is Woke Wednesday. We do it throughout the show. We talk about wokeness. What if you were to get married, says this guy? Names. Who gets what?
My girlfriend and I were talking about hypothetically.
I got to be honest. If you say hypothetically, I don't know if it's your girlfriend.
My girlfriend and I were talking about hypothetically, if we got married, would you take my last name? Obviously, no, we're feminists. That's not what we're trying to do. But then I was like, okay, so you're going to keep.
Can we just say this? Any man who says he's a feminist, kind of a douche. Can I get an amen? Anyone? 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 Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, all of you, even the women.
What we're trying to do. But then I was like, okay, so you're going to keep your last name, which is actually, that's actually your dad's last name. So you could take your mom's last name, but that's actually her dad's last name. And it goes on and on it goes. And I realized there's no such thing as a female last name. Like, they just simply don't exist because patriarchy.
Because of patriarchy. Oh my God. Patriarchy. My girlfriend? How very woke of you. He's a feminist. I bet he's an ally. He's an idiot. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Omicron. Omicron. By the way, there's a band called Omicron, for those of you guys who don't know, which apparently they're getting a lot of love. They're a bizarre, I don't even know how to put it. You guys listen to this. This is their song called Overture. Now, they've been broken up for a while, but they got a little Mannheim steamroller in them. Yeah, so that's Omicron, the band. So they're enjoying, I'm sure, a little notoriety here. What do we know? What don't we know? Not a lot. That's basically it. We don't know a ton. We're not going to know some for a while. That's it. We got treatment for it coming by the skin of the teeth, but I think there's 2 treatments, maybe 3 treatments already out there. So there you go. You've got to get back to living your life.
The pill was found to be 30% effective, not as high as expected, and advisors questioned whether it would be safe for children and pregnant women. The final decision now goes to the FDA, but this would be the first antiviral COVID pill you can take at home with a prescription.
Yeah. Most people, by the way, you could go and take this. I mean, they studied it with, the way they look at it, the best way to do this. And if you go and look, they've looked at ivermectin kind of the same way. Remember, there's no money in that. Again, follow the money. Remdesivir, another one of the things that's out there. Monoclonal antibodies are really good, but you got to have money and you got to go to a hospital to get that. You got to have a doctor to administer this IV kind of scenario. But with even hydrochloroquine, what do they all say? It's got to be within the first, so you don't feel good today, you test, you're positive for it, you start on something, right? You throw the kitchen sink at it, start on something, and away you go. That's it. And a lot of people, they're just not going to get to the point where they even are going to try anything. A majority of people won't get to that point. A majority. I go back to this. As people look into this thing, again, follow the money. Ivermectin, say what you want about it. People want to try it, go out. Don't buy it at the store where you get your dog's dewormed. That's silly. Because it's got something in the medicine which some people were doing, idiots. Not as much it was, so much of it was reported. But if you're going to do something, right, you go and you do it. You ask a doctor. Doctor says, hey, I want that. Oh, okay, here, go ahead. You got the right to try something. Knock yourself out. All right, go ahead, knock yourself out. We'll see what happens. All that being said, how dangerous is this thing? We still don't know. Israel's doing a study right now on it, like everybody else.
Israel's health minister says there's room for optimism that the fully vaccinated are protected against serious illness from the new Omicron variant. Nitzan Horowitz said of the 4 confirmed cases here and over 24 other suspected cases, none of the fully vaccinated are seriously ill from the variant. They have mild symptoms. But Horowitz cautioned this is only Israel's initial assessment and they'll know more after studying data from South Africa. The Omicron variant has now spread to the Gulf. Saudi Arabia says it's detected its first case.
There you go. South Africa said most of them have been very mild. And the people they are seeing still in the hospitals are mostly unvaccinated, which is the majority of people in South Africa, even though they're the most vaccinated of all the African nations. And most of it's still with Delta. But the panic was on. Panic was on. And that's the frustration we should have. Because it's the media. The media plays this game. And again, I go back to it's a business, right? Somebody hit me up the other day and said, oh, these people do this or that. I said, I'm not in the business of being, I will say something based on facts and opinions and back it up that some people might say that's controversial, but I'm not going to come out and just pick and choose something completely stupid so you can get mad at somebody else. And that's a lot of what's out there right now. That's a lot of what's out there. We don't know anything about this. When will we know something about this? Probably the next 2 weeks to a month. You got the, but here's something controversial. So you got the guy from Pfizer going, you know what, this thing's probably going to be all right. You're going to be okay. Right? You should be okay. Might not be as good as it was against the Delta or the original, but it's still going to offer you a decent amount of protection, even though it's got more variants inside of this variant, right? More mutations inside of it, and the business end of it, the spike protein's a little bit different. You're still going to be okay. And then, of course, you got the guy from Moderna coming out and going, no, I don't think so.
But while most of the world is willing to wait and see, at least one person feels comfortable about making predictions.
The Moderna CEO told the Financial Times he expects the existing vaccines to be less effective against the new variant of COVID.
I think it's going to be a material drop. This was on vaccine efficacy. I just don't know how much because we still need to wait for the data. But all the scientists I've spoken to are saying this is not going to be good.
Again, I go back this and continue to do so. Follow the money. Doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Doesn't mean they're evil. Doesn't mean they're wrong. But this is Christmas time for them. They are feeding at the trough. And fears, it's easy to do, right? It's easy to do. Follow the money. I've said that. People get mad. You're an anti-vaxxer. Exact opposite. Go get yourself vaccinated. Zero problems with that. I keep telling everybody, go get a shot. Treat it as a shot like you get a flu shot. How many times you heard this? Well, I got a flu shot and I still kind of got the flu. You might still kind of get this. This is not going to be as bad, potentially. Nothing wrong with that. But Trevor Noah went on to talk about the thing that we've talked about, where for the last 2 months, people say, you're an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. I got the vaccine probably before you did. Or the shot. I kept calling it a shot. But I did it because, you know what? I look around. I got responsibility of people I work with to not only, I don't want them to get sick, but also to the people that work for me. So they continue to get paid. I want everybody to be healthy. Absolutely. Health also starts with you and me and everybody else doing their thing, trying to keep themselves healthy. But it is entertaining because you bring stuff up and people shoot back at you. Well, I don't care how much it costs to keep me safe. I said, that's what people want you to do. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care how much it does. As long as it does. Man, cha-ching.
So, on the one hand, almost all the Omicron cases have been mild so far.
That's evil.
But on the other hand, the guy who stands to gain millions of dollars from new vaccines says we need new vaccines.
That is the president CEO of Moderna, who has made several $billions. Again, no problems with capitalism. Fantastic. But sell me everything. Okay? Give me all of the information. Then let me make the decision if I want to buy it. It means I'll buy it all if I want to buy it.
If we don't make a new vaccine, this disease could be with us Ferrari.
Yeah. Just saying. Follow it. It's not hard. Not being a jerk. Just being honest. Look at it in a situation where why is one drug deemed horrible? You know, one of the things they're looking at? Prozac as a treatment. Was it SSRI or SSDI prohibitors and all? They're looking at those things as treatment. Why have some people, well, if we still have the patent. See, because it's so much of it. And let me tell you something about the pharmaceutical industry. Again, zero problems with capitalism. Love it. Fantastic. The reason we get these great things is because people want to make money. People continue to push hard. All the other countries are bitching, go, you guys should give this up. You guys should give it away for free. Why? You guys don't have scientists over there? Why don't you go get China? I'm sure they'll give you all the stuff. Oh, yeah, their stuff's not hot. Man, it's not very good. How about Russia? No, we'll take a hard pass. Okay, well, why not? Why is it the Westernized nations who look at capitalism, look at profit, and that's totally fine? They're making money off it. If you do it yourself, do it yourself. If it was really that dangerous, and if it really wasn't about money, then they would give the patent up. But so much of pharmaceutical world is based in money and patents. It's not whether or not the drug's effective. It's got to be somewhat effective. It's how long can we keep that patent? And once we get the patent, as the patent winds down, what can we find that this pill also helps? Have you ever noticed? Just throwing this out there. How the thing that helps your Wiener can help you grow hair and vice versa? Oh. Always looking for something else. Hey, this thing over here works great for ADHD. By the way, this thing also really works good for, people who have joint pain. Oh, we should keep the patent longer. Oh, just throwing it out there. Follow the money. You're smart. You get it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. A little what's trending coming up. Plus, more Woke Wednesday. And Milwaukee District Attorney John Chisholm. You don't know him? This is what happens when people continue to put in stupid people to run things. Talk about him as well. MyPillow, 0 issues with supply chains, and the reason's simple. They make everything here, right? All jokes aside about MyPillow, the products are amazing, and they make it here. Americans working here in the U.S. of A. They've got these products, the Giza Dream Sheets, buy one, get one free, all these amazing products, the MyPillow, they've got a cardigan now, they've got slippers, which are incredible. All of these things that are amazing. They make them here. They're not cheap. I have a friend, and look, made fun of Mike Lindell on more than a few occasions, but I said the other day, hey, try these My Slippers. She's ordered a bunch now for her family. She's like, these things are amazing. Incredible. You will love these things. 6-day money-back guarantee. 1-year limited warranty. From the MyPillow to the slippers to everything in between. Get great gifts this holiday season. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. MyPillow.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
free. I am not a terrorist. I am not Antifa. I am not a sex slave that wears masks.
Don't be a cutie pie.
Probably sit around and cook some soups and eat bread and desserts and just get all fat and sassy.
You're ruining my life, Bob! Yeah, you haven't seen anything yet.
You're listening to The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's find out what's trending around the internet. Start on the old Google. Oxford High School, last 24 hours. Shooting there, just outside of Detroit. Yeah. The Warriors and the Suns played last night. Over 1 million checks on that. Marcus Lamb, anti-vaccine Christian broadcaster, he's died. Tiger Woods, we touched on that yesterday. It's very interesting, Tiger Woods, because he's yoked. You guys seen him. It's like, his arms are huge. But he was joking. He's like, I built a big house. So my arms got kind of big just kind of wandering around there. I'm like, you don't need to tell us that. That's awesome. Oh, my Lord. Head on over to the Twitter where people fight all day. Obviously, both things, Google and Twitter, have the SCOTUS watch when it comes to abortion. Today, Mississippi is being heard today, but Texas has already been heard. But again, what potentially could this do for Roe v. Wade? Trending everywhere and is going to continue to do so. One of the bigger stories out there. CNN trending because of Chris Cuomo. He is indefinitely suspended after allegations of him helping his brother out through this thing were eventually confirmed by the transcripts of stuff that he was not only helping his brother, giving him some advice, but also using his contacts to go after and find out information of people that were coming for him. Whoa. My goodness. My goodness, that's crazy. How could that be? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. The other thing trending is Dr. Oz.
My parents came to America to find a better life, and they did. I attended great universities, raised a family, and became a successful surgeon. I invented a heart valve that saves thousands of lives. Then I started a TV show to advocate for you taking control of your health, and took on the medical establishment to argue against costly drugs and skyrocketing medical bills. But COVID has shown us that our system is broken. We lost too many lives, too many jobs, and too many opportunities because Washington got it wrong. They took away our freedom without making us safer.
We'll see. He's running in Pennsylvania for senator. You just don't know. He's a surgeon. If he wasn't Dr. Oz on television, people might be going, ooh, but because he's Dr. Oz on television, people are like, "Rrr," and they're already hammering him because, of course, he's a Republican and not a liberal, so they got to come for him hard. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life.
This is Chad Benson.
The eyes of the country are on SCOTUS. What will they do? The court itself is full of originalists. 6-3. Trump, how many times did I say it? Most important legacy. And let me tell you something. Being a president, it's so much of it's about legacy, because so much of what you plant will not come to fruition for a while. You can go back and look at stuff that we're doing now that came from Obama, that came from Bush, right? You right now with this big infrastructure thing, the reality is some of this stuff isn't going to be finished. Hell, some of it might not be started, even if Biden stays another 7 years for a while. That's how long some of the stuff's going to take. But legacy is big. They think about legacy. And let me tell you something. 6-3 court is legacy in ways that stretch farther than infrastructure and a lot of other things. And the reason's simply this. So much of what's decided today is decided in that court. We have taken this. When people say we have three co-equal branches of government, right? Executive, legislative, judicial. The reality is the judicial is a little bit ahead. It's 34 and 33 and 33. And the reason is because we've taken so much out of the hands of everything else. And we said, you nine, you decide this. How do you interpret this piece of paper? How do you interpret this piece of paper? And with Roe v. Wade, well, this is the first chance.
This is the first time ever that a state has asked an originalist Supreme Court or a majority originalist Supreme Court to overturn Roe.
Now, let's talk about that. Roe v. Wade is not going anywhere in Los Angeles, California, Washington State, right? The left-leaning states, the blue states, they're going to keep it. It's not going anywhere. It's not. That being said, could it go places when it comes to a place like Mississippi or Texas, by the way? How do people feel about it as a whole?
This case comes as Texas hits 3 months with a near total ban on abortion still in place. Experts expected the court to rule on the Texas case ahead of the Mississippi one, but no decision yet. But the majority of Americans want Roe to stand. A recent poll by ABC News and the Washington Post found 3 in 4 say the choice to have an abortion should be left to the woman and her doctor. If Roe is reversed or rolled back, nearly half the states in the country are poised to ban or severely restrict abortion.
How do people feel about it? Well, it depends. Depends on where you look, right? AP NORC poll. 87% support abortion when a woman's life's in danger. 84% support exceptions in the case of rape. 74% support abortion if the child will be born with life-threatening illness. Across the board, though, abortion, by and large, Gallup. Most cases, people support abortion, about 80%. That was in May, slightly higher than in 1975, which was 76%. Pew Research finds that about 60% of adults believe abortion should be legal compared to 60% in 95. And there's been fluctuations, been as low as 47 in 2009. But it does change. It does change. And it changes when it comes with what's acceptable. Well, we've heard about, like if the woman's life, right? Cases of rape, even evangelicals and stuff. But across the board, it changes with trimester. Majority of Americans are fine in the first trimester. Majority of Americans. 61%. Second trimester, that flips. Only 34%. And by the third trimester, that's 19% support it. It's almost 50-50 in some ways. 60% of women support, 56% of men. Asian Americans support it more than if you're just looking at race. The more money and educated you have, the more you support it. Which is weird, right? Don't you find that weird? It'll be interesting, but it won't be gone, which is, the hair on fire that everybody will say, but it will be inconvenient. There's no doubt about that. It will be inconvenient. Texas, they're already talking about, Oklahoma's open for business, but they're struggling. Red states, and this is what we have, is we have this republic here. We have 50 individual nations, and then the country itself is like a shell corporation. And we're all battling to who does the best business, who's got this kind of stuff, what can they offer. People move in ways now that they haven't before, but the reality is people are looking around and saying, well, this state's probably going to get rid of it altogether, and this state will probably get rid of it altogether. Well, this state's going to keep it. But it does make it inconvenient. But as far as going somewhere, this is a states' rights issue. This is Mississippi. They're not suing for America, so for Mississippi. Texas, same thing. Where do I stand? I think it's your body, your choice. Again, to a certain level. But I also think you have several other choices before you get to a point where you think you have to make a choice, which we forget. I talk about the fact that, you know what? And this is, I sit here and I shake my head. Here's the reality of this. You can't, either one of you, male or female, you guys can't get contraception, but you can get an abortion. So you can't find time to get a pill or a condom, but you can find time to have a medical procedure. Interesting. But it's your body. But government tells us a lot of times what we can't do with our body, right? We're having this battle right now over mandates with vaccines. I can't sell my kidney. That's why it's my kidney. So that's the battle that we have. But it's not going anywhere. But it may be inconvenient. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. You guys remember the car that drove through? Instead of CNN the other day. It's been 7 days since a car drove through a parade. I think it was a guy. Yeah, it was. It was a guy. When you continue to put stupid people in power, and we've seen it everywhere. San Francisco, what do you guys have? Stupid DA, stupid mayor. That's what you get. Portland. Really? We have to talk about what goes on up there? From the governor to the mayor to the insanity of wokeness and just ridiculousness. Los Angeles. Seattle, for God's sakes, you guys surrendered 6 blocks to people and a police station. Milwaukee's got theirs. That person is Darrell Brooks Jr. He was the one who decided he was the one who decided that the driver, right? I mean, Darrell Brooks Jr. is the guy who was the driver, but it's John Chisholm who is the DA. He's decided, hey, that guy's okay to get out of jail because he's got this thing, right? He's got this thing that he's put. He implemented the criminal justice reforms that he basically said primarily focused on community-based prosecution, which I have no idea what that is, evidence-based decision-making, and deferred prosecution of drug addiction and mentally ill defendants. Now, that's fine, right? I think we all know if somebody's addicted to something and they're mentally ill, they're not making real solid decisions. Doesn't mean you should let them out on the streets. But when you put people in power that are idiots, that's a you problem. So Chisholm, before he was elected, right, to be the district attorney in Milwaukee, before he was elected, in an interview, he said about his programs, is there going to be an individual I divert or put on a treatment program who's going to go out and kill somebody, you bet. Guaranteed. It's guaranteed to happen, but it doesn't invalidate the overall approach. So Darrell Brooks got out on a $1,000 bail after running over his girlfriend, or whatever she was, baby mama, on a $1,000 bail. He has 40 to 50 pages. So apparently they rate you from 1 to 6, 6 being the highest. Is he likely to reoffend? 6. Is he likely to skip bail? 4. Let him out. You should be prosecuted. This isn't somebody who went through a drug treatment program and tried and then fell back into addiction. This was somebody who, and somebody who didn't have a rap sheet this long. This was somebody who you knew had issues. The media's ignored it. This guy's a scumbag. He should go to jail forever, which he will. He's not a victim of white supremacy and a systemic racism. He's a scumbag. But you, sir, Mr. Chisholm, you're a scumbag. Because across the country, DAs have gone and done this wacky thing. No cash bail, let people out, etc., etc. And in doing so, many times, the people you purport to want to help are the people that pay the biggest price. But when you continue to vote people in over and over, like this guy and several others across the country, that's a you problem. And you wonder why your cities are going to hell in a handbasket. And you wonder why violence is up. Cook County, 1,000 murders this year. Not since 94. How's that working out? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. CarShield, 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in the shop. You choose it. Top of that, you get trip reimbursement. You can't go wrong with CarShield when it comes to cover repairs. It could be your engine. It could be the electronics in your car. It could be your air conditioning and your heating. It could be whatever it is. They've got a plan that's right for you, that fits your budget, that will protect you in case something goes south with your car. Protect your car, protect your wallet, protect yourself. Get yourself CarShield. CarShield's administrators helped over 1 million people. They make everything easy. Once you make that phone call, they take over the entire process. The paperwork, getting them paid, all you do is pay a small deductible. That's it. Simple and easy. CarShield.com/Benson saves you 10%. Protect yourself, protect your car, especially this holiday season. Great deals. CarShield.com/Benson. CarShield.com/Benson saves you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Shopping, 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 shopping.
Hitting the mall to do some of your holiday shopping.
First of all, for those of you who don't know what a mall is, there used to be a place where people would go hang out. They had like a food court, and there'd be a bunch of shopping things, some small little boutique areas, a lot of chain places, and a lot of times they'd have a movie theater and kids would congregate there and they'd get something to eat and they'd go watch a movie and hang out. It was like, it's like the internet before the internet. It's kind of what it was, but you had to go to it.
Hitting the mall to do some of your holiday shopping? You helped knock some of the momentum out of Cyber Monday this year. Adobe's Digital Economy Index says this year was the first time online sales on Thanksgiving and Black Friday hadn't grown from the year before. Even so, Cyber Monday is still expected to be the biggest online shopping day of the year, up an anticipated 10% from 2020. Last year, though, at the height of the pandemic, Cyber Monday sales surged 33%.
Yeah, because we had nothing else to do. Like, we should probably buy something. We got nothing going on. I have not done a ton, but I have done some. I'm not going to lie to you. I've done a little shopping. Kind of excited about it. And I do go out and get into the hustle and bustle. I like it. I just happen to live, I joke about it, I live in the Valley of the Dirt People. We don't have a lot of things out there, but I do enjoy getting into the hustle and bustle. I've already done some of that stuff. We will have our trees up today. Normally I do that right around Thanksgiving, the day after, but because we went home, I didn't get a chance to do it. But last night, a majority of our Christmas stuff up, and it looks like Christmas tree up all over our front yard. We have it looks like we're a dealership for every blow-up thing that's ever been invented. I'm just letting you guys know. That's what it looks like. I'm going to have some pictures out there, but I'm telling you guys right now, it is definitely a lot of stuff. I'm like, man, some of this stuff, I'm like, where did we get this? My wife's like, well, I bought it earlier this year. They had a bunch of them. It's so cheap. And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Because you always say to yourself, oh, should I go and get one of these things? Look how cheap they are. And then you don't get it. And then you're like, man, I could have bought it for $20 6 months ago. But you thought, nah, I'll get it later on. She didn't. She went and bought it then. I'm like, there you go. It's a win right there, kids. That's a win. Hey, I just want to say, if you have an animal, you are not a parent to an animal. Just want to tell you that. You're its owner. Now, you have animals you may be close to, but I'm mostly talking to dog and cat people.
Do you have a dog who has anxiety?
No. Your dog should never have anxiety. Some dogs do.
Do you have a dog who has anxiety or is scared of people, the public? So this is Moses. He has anxiety. As you see, his ears are back. He's really unsure. So what we would do is we would put him inside the stroller. Good. And now inside, Moses is safe inside. Like now he's more relaxed, he's sitting inside. We could go on our way and Moses could get his fresh air. So the good thing about these petite strollers is that they have a pee pad insert over here where you could put a pee pad inside just in case the dog accidentally goes to the restroom.
Enough of that. Enough. Stop treating your animals. Like, I love Winston, right? If all the animals I have, Winston, if they said you have to get rid of everybody at 1-1, it's not even a question. Winston's staying. But I do it. I love my animals. And again, a little different. My animals are scaly. They're not furry. I have furry animals. But it is just, I'm not doing that. It's got a pee pad. Between that woman breastfeeding on an airplane, a kitten, and the pee pad in your stroller for your dog, you have no friends. Just letting you know. And there's a reason for that. Is it me? Maybe. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Heck no, we won't go. Heck no, we won't go. The eyes of America are on the Capitol, the courthouse, the 9 justices that are there because, well, abortion. Abortion, abortion. Pro-life, pro-choice. The battle that is. And now conservatives can look over and think to themselves, man, maybe Chad was right. Maybe Trump's maybe Trump's biggest legacy will be the court. 6-3 conservative. Now, John Roberts is conservative. People don't like him. But he's also, as an originalist, he's not so much a swing vote anymore because it's 5-4, even without his vote. But what he is he looks at history, precedent, and he doesn't like to mess with it. But it's going to be interesting to see what Kavanaugh does. Amy Coney Barrett, who, by the way, devout Catholic, very pro-life. And this is the first time it's been challenged in this way, where you have as what they would call originalist. Who could have something go in a different way, according to for this Mississippi case and the Texas case? Could there be somebody on the left that says, you know what, I'm going to give it states? Could there be 2 or 3 people on the right that say, you know what, want anything to do with this?
Chief Justice Roberts, because he really is now the kind of moderate institutionalist on this quite conservative 6-3 court. And he surprised a lot of people in the court's last major abortion case in crossing over to join the liberal justices to invalidate a Louisiana law. And then Justice Barrett, the newest justice on the court, she has not participated in an abortion case since joining the Supreme Court. She is quite conservative. She is widely viewed to be an opponent of abortion.
Yeah. But just because you're an opponent of something doesn't mean that you're going to go along with it based on the Constitution. You may not like it. The reality is, though, this is a big thing. People are out and about. They're there. They're upset. They're scared.
To fight for our rights. Our bodies, these are our rights.
Your bodies, your rights. And by the way, it's not just people out there who are supporting choice. You've got people out there that are there saying, you know what? We feel that this is wrong.
Nobody likes pain. And at 15 weeks old, that baby feels pain exactly like we do. Their central nervous system is fully developed, and they can feel pain just like we do.
But this is going to be a very interesting case. Not like they're coming out with it today, but what you can surmise from the questioning is where you think they might land. Now, what would happen if it was overturned? Nothing. It's a states' rights issue, right? Nothing would happen. You'd still have the right to have one, but if you're in a state that doesn't offer them, well, then that's you're going to have to find a way to get somewhere else. Some people are there because they think this is the answer.
We need to make sure that our children have proper sexual education when they're old enough, so they understand that how their body works. They need proper education. They need access to contraception. We're not doing that. So the people who say that they're pro-life and they want to make sure that there are no more abortions, then fight for sex ed in our schools.
By the way, that's a bunch of crap, right? We can all agree that's a bunch of crap. We can all agree. Now, might there be a 11-year-old and a 12-year-old that do something stupid or whatever once in a, but the reality is you kind of know, right? Like when I was 13, 12, when you start to fool, whatever it is, you kind of know. You kind of get it. And part of the reason sex education isn't what it once was is because it deals now more with gender issues and all of those things but you know. I think that's more of an answer. But you can give out free condoms all day. Most places do. Oh, they don't have access to it. If you don't have access to it, where do you live that you don't have access? Well, I don't have money for it. Then maybe you should think about not doing something that could be an issue. I mean, that's the insanity of this. We talk about, well, if they only had access to all this. Well, you can give people access all day. Same place they're going to go have a procedure done was the same place usually offering them free contraception. And by the way, Republicans, nothing wrong with that. Free contraception. Make sure that it's funded. Make sure they have it. And yeah, here's the other thing I'm going to throw out there. Personal responsibility. You have personal responsibility. You can't make it to get a condom. You can't make it to get a pill. You can't make it to... At some point in time, it's personal responsibility. There's a lot that goes into it. Abortion's not going anywhere. Choice isn't good. The choice may be you have a choice to live in a different state, a state that figures your values to be this way, and you move there. That's going to be a choice. It's how we were set up. We compete with one another. It'll be interesting to see the way that this goes, especially with all the fights that are going on now with my body mandates. You want choice for this, but I can't have choice for this. You're going to hear a lot of that crying today. But as they ask and questions and certain things is kind of how this thing will go. So it'll be very interesting to see, and to see the overreaction or underreaction from either side. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Omicron. Omicron. Omicron.
It could be, less deadly. It could be more. We don't know yet. So we are not jumping to conclusions because we want to be clear with the American public about what we do and don't know.
Oh, that's great. She's awesome. That right there is Jen Psaki. The media didn't handle it that way. The media lost their mind when it came to this. The media flipped out when it came to this. The media lost it. What do we know? What don't we know? We don't know anything. Every scientist is looking at it. It's going to be a while before they can really have a handle of it based on what we're seeing. And remember, like Moderna's guy came out, right? The French guy who runs Moderna, he's like, I don't think this is going to work. We must find a new vaccine, and I will locate it at my ATM machine. But how do you know it doesn't work? Because your stuff is not in South Africa. It's Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer. So how do you know that it doesn't work? Pfizer's like, it's probably going to work okay. Media's like, they're on fire! What will happen? We don't know. It's going to take time. It's going to be a bit. We'll find out as we move forward. Travel restrictions. And it's funny, too, because yesterday they hit Psaki up with the whole travel thing. It's not about the fact that... I said, no. Biden came out and went after Trump about him being xenophobic and stuff before. And, well, it was the way that he tweeted about all of the stuff and the racist way he tweeted and talked about it. He didn't start calling it the China virus till after he had done all that. He didn't start to do the things that you guys are saying he did until after that. We'll find out what it's going to be like. Do I think it's going to be the worst thing in the world? I don't really think so. I think at the end of the day, the virus lives to live, meaning it doesn't want to kill its host. By killing the host, it doesn't get to live. The reason it's killed a lot is because the hosts themselves weren't very good. Host. They didn't put out snacks. Their house was gross. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they were sick. Milder is what we're hearing. At this point in time, I think that's where we are. As far as Pfizer, Moderna, they have differing opinions about which one thinks that it's going to work, which one doesn't think it's going to work. And again, follow the money.
The White House reassuring Americans that if necessary, it would take about 3 months for vaccine makers to update the vaccine for Omicron and get shots into arms. Just hours after Moderna's CEO warned the vaccines will be less effective at tackling Omicron, saying, all the scientists I've talked to say this is not going to be good. The founder of Pfizer's partner, BioNTech, said even if the variant brings more breakthrough infections, the vaccine should protect the vaccinated from severe illness.
There you go. And remember, Pfizer, the reason that Pfizer has so many breakthroughs is because Pfizer is so much bigger than Moderna. So much bigger than Moderna and BioNTech. So we'll see what happens. It's not going to be good. This is probably the worst thing ever. I don't know. It's at least needing $500 trillion to save you guys. Is it the worst thing ever, or is it the worst thing ever for our bank accounts. Just curious. Throwing it out there. Again, I'm pro getting the shot. Zero problems with that. I'm pro freedom, but I'm also pro consumer awareness. That's all. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter tweet, text. Love hearing from you. Zach Abraham's going to join us from Bulwark Capital Management. Bottom of the hour, we're going to talk about inflation, talk about a lot of different things that's going on in the world right now, how you can protect yourself, people heading to retirement, what to do with investments, because people are seeing the stock market. He's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Speaking of money and saving it, but also speaking of yourself, Omaha Steaks, baby. Oh, yeah. This holiday season, ho, 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 this is a winner. $99, never before, under $100. Inflation, prices are up, especially with meats. How about this? 24 entrees. Bacon wrapped fillets. Oh, my Lord. Boneless chicken breasts. Jumbo Franks. The Omaha Steak Burgers. Scalloped potatoes. Caramel apple tartlets. Signature seasoning. And right now, just for being my listener, free 8 5-ounce Omaha Steak Burgers. Boom! That is a Christmas gift that keeps on giving. So whether it's for your dad, your mom, your brother, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife, they love to grill, you love to eat, this is the gift that's perfect. Do not wait. OmahaSteaks.com. Act now, 8 free burgers. Code Chad at the top. They got like a search bar. Type in Chad. Up it pops. Visit OmahaSteaks.com. It is the perfect gift for somebody who loves food, who loves to barbecue, who loves life. OmahaSteaks.com. Keyword Chad. Save big and act now. Get those 8 free burgers, all for under $100. OmahaSteaks.com. Keyword Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Serving up talk radio medium rare and dripping with irony. It's Chad Benson.
All eyes on the Supreme Court, Roe v. Wade, and the crosshairs of this evil Supreme Court.
What that means is that for the Supreme Court to side with Mississippi in this case, it either has to say that there's no right to choose abortion or that the viability line was wrong. And that could open a Pandora's box. Even if the court doesn't want to admit that Roe v. Wade is entirely gone, it's going to have to potentially replace viability with something or fundamentally change what Roe v. Wade stands for.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see what goes down. But this is kind of what we've created, right? We wanted states' rights. That's what our founding fathers wanted. They wanted this competition. They wanted to be able to pick and choose and freely go to the places to say, hey, look, this is you fit my values. This is what's happening. You're seeing this right now, right? People are moving out of blue states in a lot of ways and moving in to red states. And the funny thing is, while our population stayed the same, yeah, but who's moving in and who's moving out? If revenue's moving out, taxpayers, business owners, businesses, but moving in are people that are none of those, that's not good either. It's not. What you're going to have is it a state's right to say, we decide this. We don't want this here. We decide this. I don't know which way they're going to go. I don't. But we're going to find out. And it's going to be very interesting. And is the entire Roe v. Wade on line? No, because you're going to have states like California, right? They're not getting rid of this. They're not making it illegal. It's going to continue to be available there in Democratic states across the country, in some red states that are purplish, in some blue states that are purple leaning. You might see, hey, you know what? First trimester. But this is what it is. I mean, who knows what they're going to do? But people are looking and saying, well, this is what Trump has put together. This was the fear, right? Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies. The balance was already tipping. And then all of a sudden, you didn't get Merrick Garland, but you got Brett Kavanaugh. Chief Justice John Roberts has been, kind of a Midland kind of guy. But then you look over, now you've got who? I got Amy Coney Barrett, devout Catholic, who was a proponent for life. But can they compartmentalize? Of course. If it's within what they see the Constitution written as and how they interpret the law in line with the Constitution, et cetera, et cetera. It's the way this is going to go. And we'll find out during it. We know which way Chief Justice Thomas, and we know which way Justice Thomas is going to go, right? You kind of know. But it'll be interesting to see if several, a few on the right jump to the left. And if a few on the left jump to the right saying, what's the state's issue? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. Let's talk about the financial world. Inflation. Energy prices. Retirement. Where to invest. Zach Abraham joins us straight ahead. Bulwark Capital Management. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I don't do a lot of interviews. I like smart people. I like people who are interesting. I like people who get it and have a real outlook that benefits a lot of people. And this guy does that. Bulwark Capital Management, Chief Investment Officer, as well as one of the hosts of Know Your Risk Radio. Zach Abraham joins us. Zach, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, Chad. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Let's just jump straight into it. What the hell's going on in the stock market? What's going on with energy, inflation? Just roll it out.
Oh man, that's the as we joke around, that's the $50 trillion question, man. This is a really interesting setup because one of the things we're watching closely right now, Chad, is rising dollar and rising energy prices together. Most people say that can't happen. We've seen action like this for the last 2 years. For the last 2 years, essentially, gold and the dollar rose together, which isn't supposed to happen. So what I think that you're seeing is the dollar right now being the world reserves currency is sort of turned into a pressure valve. So the dollar going up and down really isn't reflective of our balance sheet or our financial health here in the United States. It's more of an indication of financial stress around the world now, being the world reserve currency. And yet you've got supply chain issues that are hitting the energy market, as well as really poorly designed energy policy by governments around the world. And so we think that you've got a concoction brewing right now where you could have a rapidly rising dollar and rapidly rising energy prices. And that could potentially wreak carnage, especially for emerging markets and emerging economies. And, then you add that to the fact that you've got corporate America now with more debt on the balance sheet as a percentage of GDP ever. You've got stock valuations on about, we track about 10 different valuation metrics. 9 out of the 10 have never been higher. The 10th is in the 98th percentile. So you add all these things up and, we know what's driving markets higher. It's governments printing money. That's not going to stop. But when you have valuations this high, you've got rising dollar, you've got energy pinches. I think the market in the next 2 to 3 years is going to look substantially different than it has in the past. And unfortunately, I think that's going to catch a lot of people wrong-footed.
Talking to Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital Management, and as well as that, a host of Know Your Risk Radio. So, like the energy, we've got inflation, we've got all these issues. People, though, they see the stock market and they're like, well, the market's kind of going up still a little bit comparatively. They're not putting everything together, especially when it comes to their investments. Some people have no idea what to do. They're like, I'm not in the stock market. I'm like, you have a 401k? Yeah, well, you're in the stock market. And
Right.
you know that, like, how many people say that? I don't trade stocks. Do you have a 401k? Yeah. So right now, you look at the marketplace because smart investors know it's time to shift. It's time to do other things rather than sit there and just let some mindless person handle their business.
Yep. Well, so here's the biggest thing, and I think the biggest thing for retail people, and Chad, this is what we do for a business. So obviously there's a part of this where I'm talking my book, right? I want to reiterate to you and your listeners, I don't have a crystal ball either. Okay. So it is our opinion, but when we look at I think one thing that we as investors or prospective investors can all recognize is that I think the era of no inflation or deflation being the threat is over. If that is the case, we are entering the last time we went through a period of time like this was 1968 to 1983, right? Everybody remembers us going off the gold standard, oil line, right? Fuel lines, all the stuff that happened in the 70s. Okay. The average investor portfolio right now is mutual funds and ETFs, right? For your stock allocations. And then you got your bond side of the portfolio. Okay. That traditional investment portfolio, that's 60-40, was designed for a period of time like the last 40 years when interest rates were falling. If you look at that 60-40 stock bond portfolio and you look at the last time that portfolio went through an inflationary period like 1968 to 1983, there wasn't a catastrophic drop on that portfolio. But if you would have retired in 1968 and begin taking 3 to 4% of your portfolio balance per year as income, which is a common financial planning practice, right? Rule of 4, you would have been broke by 1977. And the reason you would have been broke is because from 1968 to 1983, stock market was slightly negative. Bonds were down as much as 50 to 60%. Okay, so everybody's worried about the catastrophic loss. And when valuation metrics are this high and debt levels are this high, that catastrophic loss is certainly possible. What we're looking at and saying, guys, even if that doesn't happen, if you think inflation is occurring, your portfolio could not be positioned worse. And that's, we've had people sitting in bond portfolios now making essentially nothing for 10 years. They think that's bad. Wait till they're bleeding out 7 to 8% a year in their bond portfolios because interest rates are rising. It really is a scenario where the vast majority of especially retail investors are positioned for pain. And then, oh, by the way, the stock portion of their portfolio, right, because of the way mutual funds and ETFs are built, guess what they own? 40% of their stock portfolio is in tech, the most expensive sector of the market, and they've got the least amount of exposure on record to commodities and energy, which is exactly what's going to benefit from inflation. So we're just trying to sound the alarm and say, hey, guys, the portfolio you've been in, not only is it not going to work, but it could get you crushed.
Talking to Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer over there at Bulwark Capital Management. They're awesome. You guys work with you. And I tell you what, tomorrow you've got a thing, and we'll tell you everybody about that in a little bit. But you talk about energies, oil prices, OPEC getting ready to meet. People are looking around the world, Zach, and here in America, California, to Florida, going, what's going on with these prices? Are they going to go down? Am I going to have to pay $4, $5, $6 a gallon for gas? What's going to happen?
Yeah, so that's the again, that's one of the big questions in everybody's mind. I'll just tell you, before I tell you what I think is going to happen, just put all my cards on the table. I will tell you that the value portfolio that I am managing right now, in the last 6 months, we have increased our exposure to energy to about 20-25% of our value portfolio because the prices in energy are ridiculous. The last time, if we look back in the last 3 years, the last time oil was at these levels, $65, XOP is a ETF that tracks the energy industry. The last time oil was at these levels, XOP was at 173. Okay. Oil is now at 68, $69. So back to that level when XOP was at 173. Today, XOP is at 99. Okay. So nobody wants energy. The valuations we're seeing in energy are ridiculous. The reason we think that there's a big opportunity in energy long-term, and you look at oil. Oil's it's a wild animal. Okay, so it's going to move up and down. It's going to do crazy stuff. The bottom line is this: energy policies around the world have been pivoting to green energy. Which, hey, who doesn't want a clean environment? right? Cleaner air, I do. I'm all for that. But they're pivoting to that technology before it's ready. Okay, so what that has resulted in is uninvestment or a lack of investment or not enough investment into the energy space. So what we are seeing right now, believe it or not, are energy shortages. Oil is a very tight supply, and people are like, well, we had too much supply. 18 to 20% of U.S. supply was taken offline last year, and it's not coming back. Okay, it's not coming back unless prices go way higher. So
now, when you talk about being offline, I think a lot of people need to realize this is the COVID variant, or the COVID itself, played a huge part in that, because nobody was traveling and oil collapsed. And after a certain amount of dollars, and having been a commodity broker for years, it's not worth bringing it out. Why have a barrel if I'm going to lose $5 a barrel, $10, $20 a barrel?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Here's the other thing, as it always happens in investing, right? When bad circumstances meet bad management, companies break. Okay, and so what a lot of these energy companies were doing is they were making money, but they were taking all of that money plus extra debt, levering up their balance sheet, and drilling holes. Okay, that's what made the oversupply. Well, a lot of those companies just don't exist anymore. And no one's going to go back in and turn on those wells, because in the U.S. shale market, the average cost of production is around $65 a barrel. Well, I just told you oil's at $69. Nobody wants to go invest when you're only $4 above the break even, and you've seen those companies now go bust 2 times in the last 7 years. So our take is, look, eventually people will get it right. This supply will come back online, but it's not going to come back online until prices are much higher. Natural gas is another one. If you look at inventories in Europe and Asia, they're 20 to 30% lower than they typically are going into the winter. If you have a slightly below average winter in terms of temperatures, so if temperatures are slightly below average, God forbid they're much lower than average, Europe and Asia will be out of natural gas sometime between January and February. There just isn't enough, period. Then next year, they've still got to build up their storage levels to an acceptable level, right, to get ready for next winter. So the pressure on energy prices is going to be there for quite a while, and there's no new supply coming on the market. Morgan Stanley just put out a note that they think oil is going to hit 125 next year. I think it could go higher. So
what's 125 look like? Break it down for the average person. 125 in their pocketbook. If they are driving every single day, what does that look like?
You're probably paying $7 to $8 a gallon at the pump. So depending on the taxes in your state, right? And the double whammy, Chad, is it's not just going to be that, because remember, all of these energy, so for the most part, they're all replacements for each other. So if one of those commodities skyrockets, the others are going to go with it, right? So for instance, if natural gas goes way up in price, they'll start using coal instead. Well, there's a supply shortage on coal too. So you just keep walking through it, and you're like, look, England right now, you see they switched their baseload power to wind energy a few years back. They've got, I don't know if they've got them right now, but they had fuel lines just in the last couple months. So it's a double whammy. Not only would they be paying $7 to $8 a gallon at the pump, but their power bill is probably going to go up, double, triple, possibly quadruple as well. So one of the things we're telling clients is, there's the opportunity in energy. Here's the problem. For those of them that own ETFs and mutual funds, their exposure to energy and commodities as a whole, literally in the history of financial markets, has never been smaller. The energy sector, as a percentage of the S&P 500, has averaged about 12%. It's made up about 12% of the S&P 500. Today, it makes up 2.5%. Tesla is worth more than all of the energy companies in the U.S. combined. Okay, so what that means is we think that the inflation is on the rise. Those are the things that will benefit in inflation. Those are the things that will make you a lot of money. Those are the things that will protect you. And yet the average investor has never had less exposure to those things.
Crazy. Zach Abraham, Bulwark. I'm telling you right now, Know Your Risk Radio, Bulwark Capital Management. You're the Chief Investment Officer. Tomorrow you're doing something, December 2nd. Tell everybody they can join you for free. It's 30 minutes. What is it?
Yeah, so we do a virtual roadshow, and one of the reasons we do it is to cut through the smoke. We do a 30-minute presentation. We show you our risk management philosophy. Last year we went through the COVID thing. Our average client portfolio was down 5 to 6%. Market was down 36. Our average client still finished last year with a 15 to 17% gain. We don't expect people to believe that, so we just show you the portfolios. We show you how we manage them, show you how they're built, show you the performance, tell you what it costs, tell you how we do estate planning, run you through our process. Takes about 30 minutes. Do a Q&A after that, and then we just tell people, hey, if you like what you hear, give us a call. There's no arm twisting. We only want to work with people that want to work with us and like our approach, and we just lay it out there, and there you go. And a lot of those people will become clients. Some of them won't. I think everybody will leave a little more educated. So I think it's a good, no cost, no risk type look through to how we do what we do.
And you could be just beginning to invest, or you could be towards the end, right?
100%. Yep. So we've got investors all up and down. We've got clients that have been with us for years that are in their 80s, and we manage a lot of their grandkids' money and that are in their teens still. So yeah, it's all up and down the age range.
KnowYourRiskRadio.com. Sign up there. Simple and easy. Spots are limited. KnowYourRiskRadio.com. Zach Abraham, Chief Investment Officer, Bulwark Capital Management. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate you coming on.
Hey, as always, good to chat with you, Chad. Have a great one, man, and appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, man. Talk to you soon. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Let me tell you something. Be smart. That's what I always say. A lot of people don't quite get the investment world. They're scared of it. Take control of your money. Know more about it. Simple and easy. Go check it out. It's free. Like I said, I think you'd be surprised at what you can learn. And the amount of money that people are making is insane. But people lose money too. There's a risk in everything. But education's awesome. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter, ChadBenson. Chad Benson Show.
I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
That is me. You are you. All eyes on SCOTUS today because, yes, it is the potential destruction of Roe v. Wade. What? No, it's not. So funny. That's the way it is. Justice Kavanaugh, Scott Stewart.
If you were to prevail, the states, majority of states, or states still could and presumably would continue to freely allow abortion. Many states, some states, would be able to do that even if you prevail under your view. Is that correct?
That's consistent with our view, Your Honor. It's one that allows all interests to have full voice.
Solicitor General, if you will, Attorney General, appointed Scott Stewart as Solicitor General for the state of Mississippi, representing them today. What's in there, what would happen. That's a big thing. It's going to be very interesting to see the way that this rolls itself out. What would happen to access?
You would have sort of deserts of reproductive healthcare access, places, states or groups of states where women could not access legal abortion and would need to seek other means to terminate pregnancies or travel to states in which abortion remained legal.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, these are oral arguments. This is beginning. What will happen? Justice Sonia Sotomayor.
Will this institution survive the stench that this creates in the public perception that the Constitution and its reading are just political acts?
We're going to put you as a no. We shall see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Raycon, best earbuds around. Grab your Raycons now. Up to 30% off your Raycons. The best earbuds. And it's a Christmas kind of special for you. No issues with supply chain. 8 hours of listen time. 8 hours of talk time. 32 hours listening time. Several different colors to choose from. The best sound. The best fit. A new way to control the bass for the modes that they have. You will not be disappointed. Up to 30% off right now, but you have to act now. Don't wait. Grab these at great deals. These everyday earbuds. This is what I want you to do. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad to save. Buyraycon.com/Chad. If you're looking for a great Christmas gift, 45-day happiness guarantee, you won't need that because they're going to be happy with it, and you will as well. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Act now up to 30% off. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Have a great rest of your day. We got you over the hump. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.